Hi, Westside Wellbeing crew. Welcome to our Wellbeing at One. And it's a special one this week. It's yoga, but we're in Mental Health Awareness Week. So I really want to practice our yoga today in a way that is a little bit different. We're going to try and do the whole thing standing up. There might be some lying down towards the end. So if you haven't tried yoga before because you don't want to be like crawling around on a mat, you don't want to put your hands down on the floor, or it's just not convenient in the day because you don't get a chance to put yoga gear on, then this one might be the practice for you. So all you need is a space where you can stand up. Ideally, if you've got a mat, fantastic. Ideally, if you can take your shoes and socks off, even better. To be honest, this would be a lovely practice to do in the garden and maybe even just feel the ground underneath your feet. But let's work with whatever space you've got. Have some water to hand and let's begin. So we're going to start by stepping the feet together. And just notice how you feel. If you're used to starting a practice lying down, notice how it feels to start standing. What's going on with your feet and your legs? What's going on with your back, in particular your lower back, your shoulders, your arms, the neck and the head. Just paying attention. You don't have to change a thing, just notice what signals is your body sending up to your brain. How is the day that you're having, the morning, reflected in the way that your body feels? And then how is that affecting how you're breathing? When I start to mention the breath, naturally I will take a slightly deeper inhale and a slightly longer exhale. So if that feels good for you, maybe start to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. You might also notice that my eyes are closed. Again, I just find that switching off the sense of my sight and starting to tune in to the rest of the body is made a lot easier when I limit the information that's coming into my brain. See if you can keep breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you can start to make the inhales deeper and the exhales longer. And then just notice what's going on in your mind. Sometimes it can be really nice just to imagine all the thoughts that are going through your brain, like leaves being carried along a river, just floating on the top. How's that river looking today for you? Is it fast and furious and babbling? Or is it more like a lazy river, slowly meandering? We're going to try and slow it down even more. So whatever that river of your conscious thoughts is doing, just see if you can slow it down. The breath might help. Slow down the inhales and slow down the exhales. We're going to try and take 5 breaths here. Excellent. On your next inhale, start to take the arms wide. Maybe spread the fingers wide as they come all the way up above the head. And as you exhale, let the hands come all the way down through the midline of the body. We're going to try and go slower and slower with every round. Inhaling to go nice and wide with those arms. Maybe start to lift the head as the hands come together. And then exhaling, hands come all the way down. Lovely. Keep moving with the breath. Lovely. 3 more rounds. Excellent. Let the hands come all the way down beside your hips. We're going to step the feet to hip distance and just have a little softness in your knees and your hips. Maybe you bend one knee and then the other. You can bring your hands to your hips. You could start to circle around the hips in one direction and then back the other way. You can just start to swing the arms from left to right. Maybe start to shake out through the fingers and the wrists. Whatever feels good. It's a nice way just to release any excess energy or adrenaline out of the body. Let go of the day that you've been having, no matter what time of day you're doing this practice. Lovely. And then come to stillness. Feet can be hip distance still. And we're just going to drop the chin down towards the chest. And then roll left ear to left shoulder. And then roll the chin back to the chest. And roll right ear to right shoulder. And roll the chin back to the chest. And we're going to do that a few more times. Releasing into the neck and the head. Excellent. Making sure you finish on the opposite side than you started, and then bring the chin to the chest and slowly just lift the head up. And we're going to circle through the shoulders, taking them round in one direction and then back the other way. Lovely. Now we're going to add in a little bit more movement into our practice. And the same applies whenever we do yoga or any exercise, to be fair. We are looking to make sure we're not causing ourselves any damage or any pain. So use your breath as your guide. If any of the postures are making you hold your breath or clench your teeth or screw up your face, if you're finding pain in the postures, then just ease back out again. And I just mentioned that because this is quite an energetic breath, which might feel like it's a nice one to modify. So do what feels right for you. The breath is breath of joy, and we will inhale to raise the arms up. We'll inhale again to take the arms out, and then we'll take them all the way up above the head. And as you exhale, we reach all the way forwards and down and let all the air out of the mouth. And then we inhale to come up, exhale out, inhale up, and then we exhale, let all the air out of the mouth. Okay, so we're going to give it a go. We're going to do 10 rounds, there or thereabouts, depending on how my counting goes. So, inhale up, out, up, and down. Inhale up, out, up, and down. Lovely. Inhale up, out, up and down. Open that mouth as you breathe out. Inhale up, up and down. Inhaling, out, up. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Halfway. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. We'll take 3 more. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Last one. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Lovely. Breath of joy. If you are not smiling after that breath, maybe just allow yourself to let go a little bit more. And then we're going to step the feet back together. And just like we were doing a minute ago, just notice how you're feeling. Of course, if your feet don't naturally come together and it feels uncomfortable, keep your feet hip distance. But after that energetic breath, what changes are you starting to notice in the body, to the breath, to your mind? And we're now going to really properly try and come into our mountain posture, Tadasana. So before we do anything else, just lift all 10 toes, spread them as wide as you can, and replace them one by one onto the mat. Push down through the balls of the feet and the heels. Inhale, try and take your weight forwards into the balls of the feet. The toes are just there for a little extra support. You don't have to grip the mat with your toes. And then take the weight back to the middle of the feet. See if you can start to rock the weight back into your heels. Notice what happens to your legs. And then come back to center. Let's take the weight over towards the right hand side. And come back to center. And then take the weight over towards the left, coming onto the outside edge of that left foot, the inside edge of the right foot. And coming back to center. Nice, breathe. See if you can deliberately now feel the weight evenly through both sides of the balls of the feet. So the outside edge, the inside edge. Through the heel, the outside of the heel, the inside of the heel. So you've got this firm connection, your feet to the floor. And we're going to start to squeeze the kneecaps up. And at the same time, tuck the tailbone down. So you're trying to lengthen the lower part of your back. If you get a little ache in your lower back when you've been standing too long, see if you can try and do this. Tuck the tailbone down. You'll notice that the belly starts to suck up. Suck that belly button in. We're going to let the shoulders reach down, the fingertips reach down, the neck is long, the crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling. So it looks like you're just standing on your mat, but really everything is engaged. Lovely. As you inhale, start to float the arms all the way up above the head, interlace the thumbs, spread the fingers nice and wide, relax the shoulders away from your ears. Nice deep inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, reach up and over towards your right hand side. And as you inhale, coming all the way up. As you exhale, reach up and over towards your left. Inhale to come all the way up. 2 more times to each side. Move with your breath. Try and keep those shoulders away from your ears. Notice how the weight is transitioning through the feet. Excellent. Coming all the way up. Float the hands down to your lower back. Step the feet back to hip distance. I'll just turn to my side so you can see. Fingertips are pointing down. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Start to push the hips forwards. Open the chest. You could stay here. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades, those elbows coming towards each other. Maybe start to take the gaze up. Maybe start to trace the gaze back along the ceiling. You might be able to see the wall behind you, you might not, no problem. Make sure you're breathing. Lovely. Inhale to come all the way up. Excellent. Bring the hands to the hips. Have a softness in your knees. Keep the spine long as you hinge forwards from the hips. Belly coming down to the thighs. Now you can stay here. If you're on a mat and you feel okay to bring the hands to the floor, really bend your knees to help you do this. We're going to take our first two fingers and wrap them around the big toes. If you've got shoes on, no problem. If you have got socks on, you could take the hands underneath the feet. If you've got your shoes on, you're just having your hands on the floor, bending those knees. Maybe even bringing the hands to the back of the calves. From here, if you've got something to pull on that thing, back of the calves, back of the ankles, the feet or the toes. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, pull on the toes, pull the belly down towards those thighs. Every time you inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, pull a little tighter. 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Excellent. Release the bind from the toes. Hands to the hips. Push down through the feet. Softness in the knees. Long spine as you come all the way up. Excellent. We're going to float the arms out in front of us. Fingertips point towards the top of our mat space. As you exhale, bend into the knees. Sit back into an imaginary chair behind you. Try and tuck your tailbone under. See if you can see your toes pointing forwards past your knees. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Neck is long. Breathe. Inhale to come up to standing. Now, keep the arms where they are if you can. And we're just going to inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet. Heels are lifted. Exhale to release back down. Moving with the breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. We're going to do that a few more times. Activating through the legs. Exhaling. Lovely. 2 more times. Now we're going to keep doing that. Option to reach the arms up above the head as you lift the heels. And then exhale, bring the arms to shoulder height. Inhale to lift. Exhale, arms to shoulder height. Keep going with the arms at shoulder height if you prefer. And then just 2 more with whatever variation feels best for you. Lovely. Keep the arms lifted. Stay nice and strong through those arms. Come up onto the balls of the feet again, lifting the heels. Now start to bend the knees. Coming back into similar posture that we just did. It's a chair pose, but your shoulders and your hips are in line. You're breathing. Excellent. Push down through the balls of the feet. Come all the way up to standing. Release the heels, release the arms. Shake it out. Nice work. Release into the legs. Now we've just started to get a bit more used to connecting the feet to the floor. And we're just going to take a balance, but really the aim is to circle through the ankles. So you can do this with the toes on the floor. Just releasing into your ankles, circling one way and then the other. If you want to make it into a balance, ground down through your right leg and start to lift the left leg up. And you can hold on to it here and start to circle. Or you could use a wall to help your balance. You could use a chair. And then circle back the other way. Lovely. Release the foot. So it's the same option on the opposite side. You can just keep the toes on the floor, circling through that ankle. You could bring the knee up, interlace the fingers around the shin, and then just start to circle around. Maybe you're feeling super balanced on one side and not the other. That is fine. Use props if you need to, wall or chair. Circle the foot the other way. Excellent. Release the foot, release the hands, just breathe. Step the feet to hip distance, and we're going to step forwards with the right foot. And you want to have both heels pushing down into the mat, but we're going to start to bend into the front knee and straighten the back leg. And you want your front knee in line with the front ankle. So you might just have to wiggle the feet around to get the right position, but both heels are pushing down. Lovely. If you're feeling a bit unstable, just step your feet a little wider apart towards the long edges of your mat. You could stay here, you could have hands on the hips, or you could start to sweep the arms forwards and up. Breathing here. 2 more breaths. Lovely. Straighten into the front leg. Bring the hands to the hips if they're not already. You still want to have both heels pushing down into the mat. If you can, bring the arms behind you and grab hold of opposite elbows or wrists or fingertips, or keep the hands on your hips. Inhale to take the gaze up. Keep both heels pushing down as you start to fold forwards. Forehead coming all the way down towards your right shin. Right hip moving backwards. Left hip is kind of trying to pull forwards. You're squeezing the kneecaps and the thighs. Toes are relaxed, but your feet are engaged. Breathe. Excellent. Soften into the right knee, push down through the feet, long spine as you come all the way up. Now we've got an option here for you. We're going to release the arms beside you, turn the palms to point towards the top of your mat, start to take the weight into your right leg and come onto the ball of your back foot. You could stay here. Take the weight more into that right leg, option to lift the back toes up. You can stay here. You want to have one long line from the toes to the tip of the head. If you're feeling a bit more stable here in your balance, you could start to fold forwards. The aim is that as much as your body folds forwards, your back leg lifts up. And again, if you want to have a chair or something to rest your hands on, that is fine. Try and push the back heel away. Keep the left hip in line with the right. Excellent. As you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Shake it out. Nice work, guys. Same 3 postures on the opposite side. So make sure you start with your feet hip distance. It's the left foot that's going to be forwards. We're stepping the right foot back. Make sure both hips are pointing towards the top of your mat. Push down through your back heel. Excellent. Now from here, maybe hands are to the hips as you start to bend into your left knee. And you'll see my knee starts to come past the ankle. So I'm just going to wiggle that foot further forwards until my knee and my ankle are about in the same line. Keeping my back heel in constant contact with the mat. You can have the hands to the hips or sweep those arms up. 3 breaths. Excellent. Bring the hands to the hips. Soften into that left knee. Keep both hips pointing forwards, both heels pushing down. If you want to bring the feet a little closer together, you can. Grabbing hold of opposite elbows behind the back or wrists, forearms, fingertips, whatever you can grab. Take the gaze up And as you exhale, start to fold. Folding, folding, folding. Forehead coming down towards that left shin. The stretch here is into the back of that left leg, and we are breathing. Lovely. As you inhale, we're going to start to come up, soften into that left knee. Long spine as you come up to standing. Release the hands, turn the palms to point forwards. Now you could stay here. You could start to take the weight into the left knee. You could come onto the ball of the back foot. Option just to start to lift the back toes up. Find your balance. Maybe start to fold forwards. I'm desperately trying not to use the wall here. Head reaching forwards. Right heel pushing backwards. Giant capital letter T shape with the body. You're breathing. Excellent. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Shake it out through the legs. Just let it go through the body. Find your way to stillness and breathe. So those last few postures, the hips were all pointing forwards. We're now going to do some work where the hips are going to be more open. So I'm turning to face the long edge of the mat, and I'm taking my feet wide, kind of a little wider than I would comfortably like to go. Now, I don't know what you're wearing or where you are and what is feasible for you today. So just choose your options here. You can stay here. You can have the hands on the hips. Lovely. Option just to start to fold forwards. And maybe you're coming halfway. So your head, your shoulders, your hips, all in one line. If you feel comfortable, well, you've got two options. You could slide your hands down the legs if you haven't got the option to touch the floor or the ground here, and hold on to the back of the calves. Or you can bring the hands underneath the face. Have the heels pushing out a little wider than your toes. And if you feel like your back is long and flat here, you could start to walk the hands back in line with your toes. Breathing here, 2 more times. Lovely. Wherever you've chosen to put your hands, we're going to start to release them back to the hips. Have a softness in the knees, push down to come all the way up. Heel toe the feet back in, but they're still going to be wide, so definitely wider than your hips. And this time, turn the toes out. You can have hands to hips, or you could have hands in a prayer. We're going to start to bend the knees, and the knees will point in the same direction as your toes. And we're trying to tuck the tailbone under here. So if you feel your hips start to go back behind you, try and tuck the tailbone under. You might notice that your knees come in a little bit, because often we can be really tight in our hips. That's why we get back pain sometimes, because our knees and our hips connected to that lower back. So try and tuck the lower back under, and then open the knees out wide. Hands on hips or hands in prayer. Breathe. Excellent. As you inhale, just straighten up through the legs. We're coming straight back into a second set. So as you exhale, bend the knees, let the knees point in the same direction as your toes. Now you can stay here, or this time lift up one heel and then the other. You could just transfer the weight from one side to the other. Maybe you're lifting both heels at the same time. Your choice. Have a play around. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths. Lovely stuff. Release the heels, push down through the feet, come up to standing. Excellent. Heel toe those feet all the way back in. Now we're going to take a quad glute stretch. So have a bend in the knees and we're going to cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. So you're sort of trying to make a figure 4 shape with your legs. And once you've got that contact, start to send your hips backwards. Hands can be on your shin or the back of a chair or the wall. So it's another little balancing challenge as well. And you'll start to notice the more you can push your hips back, the more you can find that stretch. Excellent. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Same thing on the other side. So have a softness in the knees. Right ankle comes up to rest on top of the left quad. We start to push the hips back. Hands to the shin. Try and keep the spine long, using whatever you need to help you balance. And then come all the way up to standing. Excellent. Just keeping a little eye on timings for us. Nice work, guys. So we'll take a hip opening, balancing posture. So just breathe here. And then let's come into tree pose. Right foot comes to the side of the ankle and the floor. Maybe to the inner shin. Maybe to the inner thigh. Make sure you're not pushing against the side of the knee. Tuck the tailbone under, hands to prayer. Finding your option. Find stillness here. So gaze on one thing ahead of you that isn't moving. And try and breathe just as calmly and deeply as we did right at the beginning. And then let's start to release the prayer up above the head, separating the hands to shoulder distance. You can stay here, or you could start to bring your right arm down to the inside of the knee or the thigh and then start to reach up and over. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Releasing the hands, releasing the foot. Find your stillness. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, that left foot comes to the side of the ankle, the floor, the inner shin, or the inner thigh. Hands to prayer at the heart center. Option to release the prayer up above the head. Maybe separate the hands. Maybe the left hand comes down to the inside of the knee or the thigh and you might gently start to reach up and over. Doesn't have to be a big movement. On your next inhale, slowly start to bring right arm up to meet the left, or left arm up to meet the right. Prayer back to heart center. Release the foot, release the hands. Just shake it out. And find your stillness here. Feet can be together or hip distance apart. And take this opportunity just to check back in with how you're feeling. So we're going to come into a good old-fashioned quad stretch here. So again, it's another potential for a balance, but you can use a chair or a wall as we've been doing. We're just going to bend into the right leg. Bring the right hand to the outside of the foot. Try and squeeze the heel towards the butt cheek and try and bring the knees together. You could have your hand out wide to help you balance, hand on the hip. If you're feeling particularly yogic here, you could bring that left hand into a half prayer at the chest center. Lovely. Releasing the foot, releasing the hands. Just transferring over to the other side. So left knee bends, back behind you. And keep pushing that left hip forwards. Really get the stretch into the hip flexor here. You can also squeeze the left shoulder back behind you. So it's nice and engaged. Hand is wherever it feels good. Wall, chair, hip, out to the side or in half a prayer. Don't stop pushing the hip forwards. Excellent. Release the foot, release the hands, breathe. So if we were down on the mat, we would normally try and start to add in some more twists if we hadn't done them towards the end of our practice. So we're going to take a couple of twisted options here. So have your feet together, bend the knees, dip the hips, start to sweep the arms forwards and up. You could stay here, have the hands to prayer at heart center, or have the hands to the hips. We're just going to be here for a couple more breaths. Lovely. Bring the hands to prayer or hands to the hips. We're going to start to twist around to the right hand side. So if your hands are on your hips, maybe bring your right hand to the lower back, left hand to the outside of the thigh. I'm not too worried about the bend in the knees today. It's more about the twist. If your hands were in prayer, we're twisting to the right, hooking the left elbow to the outside edge of the right thigh. So same posture. Keep the knees super glued together, the inner thighs super glued together. Find that twist. Lovely. As you inhale, unhook the elbow, push down through the feet, come up to standing. Just breathe. Lovely. We'll do the same thing on the other side. As you inhale, bend the knees, dip the hips. Sweep the arms forwards and up. Hands to prayer or hands to hips or hands are lifted. 2 breaths. So, hands to prayer. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, twist to the left. This time hooking the right elbow to the outside edge of the left thigh. If the hands were on the hips, we're sliding left hand to the lower back, right hand to the outside of the left thigh. That's going to help you twist. Keep the knees super glued together. The ankles are super glued together if you can. That twisting is coming from your waist. Lovely. Unwind, push down through the feet, come up to standing, breathe. Step the feet to hip distance. Bring hands to the hips. Inhale, take the gaze up, and as you exhale, soften into the knees. Reach forward, fold forwards, hands come down. Release them to the mat if you can. If not, keep the hands on the hips. We're talking about having nice bent knees here, so don't worry. If you think you need to have your legs straight and your hands on the floor, you don't. Bend, in fact, even more into your left knee and push your left hand into the mat. Start to straighten your right leg. We're going to twist, reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze follows. Lovely. Bring that right hand down. Bend more into the right leg. Straighten the left. And start to twist and open to the left hand side. Excellent. Soften into both knees. Bring the hands to the hips. Push down through the feet. Start to come all the way up to standing. Just ignore me. I'm keeping an eye on the time for us. Lovely. Coming all the way up. Step the feet together. Notice how you're feeling. Now, if you want to finish this practice lying down or sitting in a chair, then you can. I'm going to be true to the concept of this practice, all standing. So, get into your comfortable position. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and I just invite you here to feel the breath. You can do this anytime, any place. There's a really nice self-soothing technique helping you to keep nice and calm. Just pay attention, the inhale and the exhale. If this feels comfortable for you, you can stay here. Option to swap the hands around, or option to release the hands beside you as we just come into our final minute or so of stillness. Slowly starting to bring your awareness back to your surroundings, starting to think about taking a slightly deeper inhale and a longer exhale. You can start to inspire life into your bodies as you inhale, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, rotating through the wrists, maybe roll the head. You can start to bend the knees, maybe just heel toe the feet to hip distance and get some movement into your ankles. And then let's inhale, arms come up, find a full body stretch. And then release the arms all the way back down beside you. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible practice and energy with me and each other, all virtually. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us, maybe in Mental Health Awareness Week if you're doing it this week. If you've enjoyed doing a standing practice, let us know. We can experiment and do some more of these. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up and a nice little like, and do subscribe because we release videos every week. So you get yoga, Pilates, you get Tabata, you get HIIT. So there's a new one dropped every week and we would love to have you along. Take care, everybody.